All right, we're going to do a show on weird dating stories.
Like weird, like unusual, or like
Yeah,
funny?
yeah, like unusual, not necessarily funny.
Oh,
Just,
okay.
just weird shit.
All right. But not funny stories about us, like about other people.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, not about us.
All right.
The first one, this couple's going to see a movie and they didn't buy tickets in advance. Right.
Dating fail already.
Right. So,
Okay.
so they get there and they can't get two tickets next to each other. So I assume the guy.
I have to sniff.
I'm assuming the.
Sorry, I have to sniff. I'm sorry, I had to sniff. I'm just telling the people out there. It's not a cocaine problem or anything. I just needed to sniff.
Right.
All right, go ahead.
Wipe the powder off.
Yeah, right. So go ahead. Right.
All right, I'm gonna start over.
All right. No, all right. It was funny. My sniff can be funny. We can include my sniff. I'm an imperfect human. All right, go ahead. So we have a funny dating story.
This couple's going to see a movie and they didn't get tickets in advance. So they couldn't get, and then when they got up to the window, they couldn't get two tickets next to each other. So they ended up sitting on opposite sides of the theater from each other. And it sounds to me like it was a first date because when this movie was over, they were like, cool, bye, see you, and they didn't continue.
Okay, there are so many things wrong with this story.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, if you're going on a first date, you really should have a plan. And as we've already discussed in a previous podcast, if you haven't seen it, a movie is a very poor choice for a first date.
Yeah.
Under the best of circumstances.
Oh, I totally agree.
And I just want to say that if I were to go on a date with someone and we were to get to the movie theater and they said, "I'm sorry, sir, we only have 2 seats and they're not together," and he said, "Okay, I'll take them."
Yeah. Oh, you mean they're on entirely different sides of the theater? Oh, that'll work. I'll take them.
I would say, listen, you sit in your seat and I'll go home. See ya.
Right,
I mean,
right.
for real, like who would do that? Who would be like, okay, that sounds good? I mean, unless
Yeah,
it was a movie
you're
date.
like on one side of the theater sitting next to total strangers, man, watching a movie and you're supposed to be on a date. How the hell's that work?
I mean, how do you share the popcorn? I'm just saying, but it's not just that. It's like, that would, I mean.
Wow, that's stupid, man.
That's
If we got to a theater and they didn't have 2 seats beside each other, we'd just be like, oh, well, that was a good idea. It just didn't work out.
Right.
Go do something else.
I mean, maybe our viewing audience should know that we have never, to this day, ever gone to see a movie in the movie theater together, ever. So movies aren't our thing, right? Like, right? We've never gone to see a movie.
No, I don't think we have.
No,
Never been
never.
to the theater. Yeah.
Maybe we should do that, honey. Maybe it would be exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it. I just,
They have food and drinks at movies now.
yeah, and I think what happened to me, I don't watch a hell of a lot of TV
Right.
anyway and movies and stuff, but there's so much available on Netflix and everything else that I haven't seen that it's kind of hard for me to say, oh, let's go to the theater. Yeah, and also I don't really follow the current news very well, so I don't really know anything about the shows that are playing right now.
Yeah, you probably would miss out on a lot of the context, and they'll be, we could be in the movie, and they might make reference in the movie to other things in like pop culture, and you would have no idea what they were talking
Yeah,
about.
that's true. That's probably true. Yeah.
All right, so what else we got here?
Well, let's see what we got here. So,
Well, I see the word pussy in that one. What's up with
that's
that?
got to be a good one. So, said it was the only way he played because there was no pussy.
No,
Oh, this is. I started reading in the middle of this one. Okay, let's go to the next one.
wait, no. Let's go to the beginning.
This one's stupid. Okay, so listen, there's this new guy at work.
Yeah.
This woman's talking about this, and he seemed kind of cool. So she invited him to a house party with her close friends because they all like to drink and play games and what have you. Well, they decided to play strip poker or something like that, and this dude, when he gets his losing cards or whatever, the first thing he does is take his pants off, and on the second time he lost, he took his underwear off, so he's just sitting out there with his dick hanging out and his shirt and everything else still on. And he said it was the only way he played because there's no pussy.
no, because he's no pussy.
Oh. So, yeah, maybe you should read this shit. He said it was the only way he played because he's no pussy. So her friends were confused. She was mortified, thought it was weird.
And they weren't even drunk
They
yet.
weren't even drunk yet,
Oh, wait, it's got a good ending.
So anyway, we've been together for 5 years and got married in July.
Honey, this reminds
So
me.
he must have had like a really nice package when he took his pants off.
Perhaps.
Yeah, he must have, because hell, she married him.
Yeah, women don't base their marriage decision on things like that. But
Well,
listen,
you clearly didn't. But
that reminds me of a story about you, though, honey.
tell me about it.
Well, are you sure you want me to tell everybody?
Sorry, man. I got
It's a
little
funny
something in my
story. It's kind of a funny story, but it's very different. But it does remind me of it when we went to get our spray tan.
eye. Oh, tell the spray tan story.
Jason, because he is a man, has never gotten a spray tan before. And we were going to Mexico in the wintertime. It was March, the beginning of March. And so I said, I think I'm going to get a spray tan because I'm not tan, and I want to be able to wear my like sleeveless stuff. And I'm like, you want to get one? And he's like, yeah, I'll get one. I mean, he was, he wasn't thrilled about it or anything. Right. So I was going to this woman's house to get them. And so she did her spray tans in the basement. And she's really nice. And
she had like a little tent.
Yeah, she was good at it too. She gave good spray tans. I don't get them anymore because the last time I got one, it was comical. It was almost ridiculous. It looked like I had brown streaks on my face, and they usually look like not very good. So anyway, we went to get our spray tan, and I got mine. And the way that the basement was set up, like there was a couch facing a TV, and her little tent was behind the couch. So Jason's sitting on the couch, not facing me or anything. Doesn't matter though, because I take all my clothes off to get a spray tan, so it wouldn't. So I take all my clothes off. I always, and she, big deal. I get in the tent, she sprays me. Well, then I go get on the couch. Jason goes to get his spray tan, and I guess I should have prepped him, but honestly, I did not know what I did not know what the male spray tan protocol was. I have no idea, so I couldn't have even prepped him if I wanted to. But I hear the lady say something like, "Oh my, this is a first." I look back and I'm correct. Jason has taken all his clothes off to get his spray tan. So he's completely naked in front of this woman in her basement. And
hell, I didn't know.
Well, honestly, when I think about it, I didn't either. I wouldn't have known what to tell you. I can see if you had been by yourself, it would have been super creepy, right? But I was there. So she was really nice and she was laughing. And I remember I mouthed something like, "I'm sorry." And she's like, "Oh, it's okay." But we were cracking up. It was funny. It was funny, right? He was so embarrassed that he was mad at me because I didn't tell him. But
I had no idea. I wasn't mad.
No, not mad. No, he's never really been mad at me too much.
Well, I had been to a tanning bed before.
Right.
In a tanning bed, I took off my clothes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have like a white where your underwear are.
Yeah, that would be crazy too. Yeah. Plus, to get a spray tan, you would have just sprayed over your underwear. They would have been completely ruined. And
to me, that sounds gross, man.
It does sound gross. Yeah, but so that reminds me of this story. Like that could have been you taking your pants and your underwear off
right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate at the thing. All right, let's move on. Had a date where this guy promptly told me his political views. I hated him so much, but was too nice to just leave. So I texted a cop friend to come get me out of the date. Cop friend proceeds to fake arrest me in the middle of a restaurant.
A fake arrest.
That's a good way to get out of a date. I gotta say, that's funny. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking someone's political views.
Well,
on your first date, though.
Obviously she didn't want to hear his political views.
Well, no, she just knew that they were the wrong ones.
Well, see, right.
I had a date once where we talked about politics, and I thought it went really well, and we didn't have another date.
Yeah, she's probably like you. You're totally okay with somebody telling you their political views as long as they match with yours.
Actually, that's not true. But no, I like to talk about politics even with people who have differing political views than my own. In fact, that's what makes it interesting. If they have the same, we're just kind of agreeing. And honestly, when I did date that short time that I was single, I went out with almost everyone I went out with had voted for the person that I didn't vote for, who will remain nameless.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure everybody. No kidding. So it was. I think it's really only been the last couple of years or a few years that it would be really hard to date someone who.
Because it's getting really, really polarized. Divided
for
out
sure.
there,
And too polarized. I will say I do agree with that. It's too polarized.
Yeah, okay. There was a day when a Democrat and a Republican could be married.
Oh, it happened all the time.
It wasn't a big deal.
Now it would be harder. Yeah. Well, that's. Yeah, we won't get into that. That's probably, we could go down a rabbit hole. But it would make a great show if you agree with me.